Is Carmen, and today we have a reading for you about at least one person, but it's probably more than one person, who is staring at you from across a room, probably a social event, although it could be like a workplace. And it's quite clear that they're not a fan or they've been talking about you. This Three of Cups in particular is one that always seems to be a little bit more negative as far as that social environment because we have the folks wearing masks. But then you add to that we have the King of Cups in the reverse, which is basically like emotional immaturity or wanting to cause distress. And it feels to me like we have some plotting or some how do we get this person back or like put them in their place kind of thing. So kind of mean girls, but it doesn't have to be women that are doing this, right? Let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box, as is more information on how to become a member. Thank you to the current members. And thank you for those of you that have checked out the Etsy site with my new candles. I appreciate you. Hello, Charlie. Hello, Rachel. Hello, Jessica. How are we doing? In a special VIP section. I like that. All right, so we're going to go with the Black Tarot, in part because I've been hearing Black Hole Sun. So I don't know if there's some lyrics that resonate for some of you out there, or maybe you just need a good song recommendation. What do we have? Hello, Aunt France, how you doing? It's true. We're all capable of it, huh? So we've got the Ten of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and the King of Swords in the reverse. Wow, okay, that's wild. So I've only pulled 3 cards, and all 3 of them are associated with air signs. Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. So that could be pretty heavily featured either in your chart or someone else's chart. But beyond that, we also have the King and the Queen of Swords coming out within these first 3 cards. So this is very clearly, to me, a breakup situation. And with the King of Swords in the reverse, I feel like we've got some chatter or some questions, some gossip, maybe even just like straight up judgments regarding a breakup or how the King and Queen of Swords are doing after a betrayal. Doesn't necessarily mean they have to have broken up. It could just be that everybody knows that they got into a really big argument, right? Hello, Zats, how you doing? Hello, Dee Dee. Oh, that's normal. That just means they like you. Hello, Redbeard. How are you doing? Yes, liking is always welcome. Subscribing as well. We have the Fool in the reverse and the Four of Swords in the reverse. There is somebody here who I think a lot of people look at as unhealed or maybe a little bit selfish, immature. The word that comes to mind is rake. And I know you're like, Carmen, what does fall time lawn care have to do with this reading? But rake, I believe, is also a word that refers to somebody who causes a lot of trouble. Somebody who is kind of like a pain in your side. I'm not really like able to pull the exact definition of it, but I'm pretty sure it's like a scallywag type, right? So we have that kind of energy here where perhaps people expected there to be a fallout between these two because someone had a pattern of being disrespectful or unreliable in relationships, probably specifically having to do with fidelity or whether or not this person is capable of being loyal. But this could also have to do with finances because the King of Pentacles or King of Spheres is also tied to stability. This could be, you know, somebody who married and then spent their spouse's money in the first year. But we do have the Six of Swords and the Strength card in the reverse, indicating that somebody is realizing in order for things to get better, or maybe already realized, I'm going to have to separate from this person. I can't expect this King of Spheres or King of Pentacles in the reverse to change their spots. This is someone who clearly is just going to continue to be difficult in relationships. So I feel like we have this Queen of Swords as the person who has probably ended a relationship or is deciding to walk away, because a King of Swords in the reverse doesn't seem to be too focused on how to rebuild after a betrayal. Hello, Holy Ghost. How are you doing? So we have the Empress coming out. This could be somebody who is a parent. This could be somebody who is expecting a child, or this could be somebody who feels like they have to make the right choice for a child that they'd had before they started this relationship. Regardless, I do think that there is something here to do with, I need to make the right decision regarding a child. It could also be, you know, you get attached if you date somebody who has, you know, an adorable 6-year-old and you want to be there for that child. Sometimes breaking up means that you have to separate from that person's family too, right? But whatever it is, there is this argument that makes someone realize, it makes this Queen of Swords realize, again, doesn't have to be a woman, that it's time to put this person in the cold, or time to walk away, time to go no contact perhaps. But the Five of Wands is the battle with other people. So now that we know that there's been a betrayal, now that we know that there's been possibly a breakup, we have people glaring from across the room, whispering or gossiping, trying to figure out what were the actual details and is this person actually going to leave. The King of Swords in the reverse. Seven of Swords in the reverse and the Page of Cups in the reverse. I think this is a little bit cruel. It feels to me like we have people looking for evidence of heartbreak. Like, you know, I heard you got your heart broken, so, you know, you have some bloodshot eyes. Like, is your makeup ruined? Are you looking at the ground most of the time? You know, they're just trying to almost like make it a science observation. We have the Tower in the reverse, Justice in the reverse, and the Six of Spheres or Six of Pentacles in the reverse. For some of you, this is like the ghosts of spouses past, or this is like exes that knew this was going to happen to you, and they're taking some sort of delight in the fact that someone else has had their heart broken by this King of Swords in the reverse. This is just a little bit petty, and I don't know, just like we expected this to happen. We expected this person to be, you know, unfaithful or, you know, selfish in some way. And now we want to see how that person is dealing with it. Now we want to see like the evidence of that. This is the Tattoo Tarot. Hello, Matt. How you doing? Hello, Sabrina. I do a general reading for the first 30 to 35 minutes, and then at that time I do personal questions with priority to those who tip or donate. I do sometimes do free questions, just depends on the actual question and whether or not I'm hungry. Hello to Mike, how are you doing? Hello Pagan, what's up? Thank you, Rachel. So we have the Eight of Wands, the Seven of Cups, and the Four of Pentacles in the reverse. A decision to believe what's going on instead of buy into some illusion or pretend somebody's, you know, pretty lies are actually the truth. So maybe this King of Swords in the reverse is somebody who is quite capable of manipulation. That would make a lot of sense. This could be someone who knows how to mislead or misdirect or maybe even make somebody else out to be the problem. But it's not fooling this Queen of Swords anymore. Sometimes when you spend enough time with a person, you even know what like a certain cough means. Or you know they always say a particular word and it doesn't sound like they're angry, but really they're angry. This is like, no, I know how to read you, and I know that this is somebody who is not willing to work on things, and this is somebody who's lying. So as a result, this Queen of Swords doesn't take much convincing. It's just like, you know what? It's probably time, right? Thank you, Pagan. Let me add that for you. We'll see what we get for you. Hey, Pharaoh, how are you doing today? Thank you, Zats. Hello, Dad. How are you doing? Yes, exactly. You know, there are some people who make probably a whole living and whatnot off of telling you if people are looking up into the left, I think it is, that means that they're accessing their memories. But if they're looking up and to the right, then that means they're creating something. You know, there's little complicated tells like that, and it's probably relatively accurate. But when you really know a person, you know, like, you know, they bite their lip when they're nervous about whether or not you're going to believe them, or their eye contact changes. Maybe they add way more details, you know? You just start to figure that out. And I think this is the Queen of Swords basically realizing, I'm not going to continue to justify being with somebody who is consistently trying to keep me in confusion, consistently trying to avoid telling me the truth. Like, no, thank you. I would be just fine without that. Because the moon in the reverse is another reference to somebody who doesn't have very good intentions. Somebody who is secretive, not because they have some cute surprise for you, or because maybe it's just like something they're not ready to tell you. They're secretive by design because they know they would look like they were not really acting very, I don't know, appropriately or respectfully towards you. Hello, Lee. How you doing today? Of course. Thank you for the tip. I've added you. Hello, Priyanka. How are you doing today? Oh, that's so kind of you, Vero. Hello, Angela. How are you today? What else do we have? We have the Eight of Pentacles, Ten of Swords in the reverse, Ten of Wands, and the Page of Cups. All right, so we've got someone who feels like I need to just focus on work or making things, you know, a little bit better. Maybe there's a desire to move. Maybe there is a new hobby you're getting into. Maybe you want to be a part of a book club. But I feel like what had previously been rather frustrating for you, living in that confusion or trying to figure out what was really going on with this King of Swords. Now this Queen of Swords is looking at it as, I think I can accept this. I think it's going to be easier for me, or there's almost like a sense of relief walking away from this because now I don't have to try to piece everything together. Now I don't have to try to like solve the mystery. I just know we weren't good together, right? All right, this is the Path of Shadows. Hello, SSPD, how you doing? Hello, Nathaniel, what's up? Yeah, it's okay to be selective. It's important to know what you want. Oh my gosh, 18 inches of snow sounds horrible. I think it's like maybe, I don't know, 2 inches or 3 inches. But it's real cold. I don't like that. Thank you. Hold on, am I supposed to call you Pri or Priyanka? I think you are the one I was calling Pri. Yes. Any messages from Spirit? I got you. And thank you. All right, let's see what else we've got. We've got the skull. It talks about transcendence, intuition, and power. So the Queen of Swords came out in the upright because this is somebody who is able to identify their intuition as pretty much being confirmed. Now, this Queen of Swords is interesting because you really don't see much of her face. In fact, the eyes are covered, right, by her hair, which makes me giggle a little bit because I used to have a lot of fun pulling all of my hair in front of my face when I was like in middle school or high school with my friends. And they would think I was looking outside the window, and then I would like, you know, cousin edit. I'm picking up on someone not really having receipts, but working off of intuition and recognizing a change in behavior or recognizing those tells because somebody's lying, right? So as a result, that's why we have this ending or this person deciding to walk away from a relationship. I can't trust you, so like, what are we really trying to do here? Trust is pretty much required, right? Even if it's just a friendship, even if it's just, I work for you. So we have sabotaging relationships. In the tangle of love, my demons emerge, and I wonder if yours will ask them to dance. This is someone who seems to be able to delay some of the things about themselves that are not very attractive or conducive to a healthy relationship. So it's a little bit of like a gotcha moment where, I don't know, maybe 6 months in, this person starts to be a lot less attentive or maybe even just rude or not around very often. We've got the Ghoul card. In the shadows I dwell, feeding on what I can, not remembering when was the last time life tasted well. We just had this card the other day, and it makes me feel like this is someone who wears a mask in order to make it seem like they are happier or a, I don't know, better type of person for you to be around. And then when you're in that relationship with them, they start to show you more of that like kind of negativity or that inability to enjoy things. And I feel like that leads to a variety of potential problems. Whether that means they look for external validation or, you know, side pieces, whether that means they just kind of shut down and don't share their emotions with you. None of those reactions are really that positive. This is someone who turns away instead of trying to solve the issues that might come about. All right, this is the Gold Foil Tarot. Hello, Steely Gray. How are you doing? We are at 16 and a half minutes, so about halfway through the general. And I don't know what'll be breakfast this morning. Maybe a bagel. I used to start my days in high school, like pretty much every day, with a bagel and a slice of white cheese. And then like microwave for like 20 seconds. It's peak health, okay, you guys? Fitness. Cheese and bread. Actually, it'd be way better if I was in Norway. Cheese and bread for breakfast in Norway is much better than the bagel that I'm having. Wow, we have another moon in the reverse. This person is not very nice. I think at a certain point, you not only begin to pick up on this person's tells, you can figure out when they're lying, you can figure out when they're covering up for something or just like not really interested in connecting with you. I think you realize that the relationship is really already over at that point. It doesn't matter if you walk away, there's already this distance. And that might embolden you to make this decision. But there's also people out here who are laughing or taking some sort of joy in the fact that this relationship has ended. Maybe these are people who want to be with the King of Swords, or maybe these are people who, you know, kind of know this person's track record. We have the King of Wands in the reverse and the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. They see this person, the King of Swords, as someone who doesn't really know how to be a good partner. Someone who doesn't invest or lets things kind of crumble. So maybe friends or family or, you know, probably exes know that at the beginning everything seems great. There's that honeymoon period and then they show their true colors. They just stop trying, right? Hello, Erin. How are you doing? We have the Lovers, the King of Pentacles in the reverse in the same column, and the Ten of Cups in the reverse, Nine of Pentacles. So now that you're not in this relationship, I feel like the glaring is coming from people that are associated with this King of Pentacles or King of Swords in the reverse. You're like seen as an outsider or somebody who like married into the family or someone who was introduced to like the social community, the friend group. But I'm going to tell you right now, there is somebody here who is supposed to be a good friend to this King of Swords in the reverse. And maybe one of the people who's like over in that crowd where they're glaring. I don't know that it would be one of the people that's glaring. Maybe just more inquisitive or curious. Like, how you doing over there? I feel like there's someone who's admiring you. Is this about to get even more interesting? We have the Six of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, Judgment. I feel like there's someone here who is trying to figure out how difficult this breakup or relationship ending is for the Queen of Swords because they know or have known the King of Swords longer. And if the King of Swords messed up this relationship, I feel like this new person is like, well, maybe I will shoot my shot. Is there perhaps a chance that you would like my cup of love? That's interesting. I don't know that I would go for that. This person's probably still like healing, right? But that person's rushing it. They're like, you know what? You're single. That person did you wrong. I could do you right. Okay. This feels a little bit like not reading the room. 7 of Pentacles. Ace of Wands in the reverse. Ooh. It's a no for me. I feel like this is somebody who is not paying close attention to whether or not this is a good idea. And they're like, well, okay, this person messed up and you've left them. So it's like fair game, right? Like it's a kielbasa sausage in the refrigerator. If you know that reference, you're pretty awesome. This is like, no. Doesn't do it for me. Not interested. So this could get a little bit more awkward because we have these people watching, right? It makes me think of that scene in Johnny Depp's movie Blow with Penelope Cruz where they first start talking and she's in a relationship and he just goes in for it. Like, I don't care. I think you should be with me. Receipts, proof, show me. Divine Feminine. And crushed, sad, broken, feeling alone. So I know that you're probably feeling lonely because your relationship just ended, and that seems like a fabulous time for me to swoop in and offer to be someone that you can talk to about your feelings. Oh, do you need a hug? Oh, of course you need a hug. I could give you a hug. With no clothes on, is what they're thinking. I don't like this. Why does it feel like this whole group is manipulative? Okay, so the King of Swords in reverse is the person that the Queen of Swords has broken up with or is walking away from. And there's some other person from this group who's like, cool, you're probably like sad and stuff, so I'm gonna go hit on you and then like maybe I have like a chance because you're sad. And they probably feel like you need money. I don't know, man. They feel like they can be there for you, either financially or emotionally, but really it's because they have not so great motivations, is my opinion. We'll see. Yeah. This is someone who feels like they only have a small window. And because, I don't like this, because you are sad, they feel like they have a better chance. You're upset over this other relationship. I'm gonna like swoop in and be like, you know, super helpful friend. And oh my gosh, you know, I've seen them do that before. It's not your fault. Don't blame yourself. Oh, let me get that tear for you. They just wanna like hit on you when you're crying, weirdo. Okay. We're gonna get the Hidden Truth Oracle out because it does feel to me like we've had someone who has maybe been just kind of like secretly hoping that your relationship would end because they're interested in you themselves. What else do we have? I love you. I'm so attracted to you, and I remember every detail of that day. So this is someone who has felt, while the Queen of Swords was dating the King of Swords in the reverse, that there was still something like chemistry between the two of them. So they've been thinking and obsessing over this moment where they felt like something magical happened between the Queen of Swords and themselves. They see that this breakup has happened, and they're like, pss, 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 across the room, like, should I go like hit on that person? I should, right? Now's a good time. Sure, go for it. It's not like anything I say is going to stop this person. They feel like this is the best time. Maybe they felt like you flirted. Maybe they felt like at some point you might get back together with that King of Swords and they want to make sure that they hit on you or like shoot their shot before that gets worked out. And they liked when you looked at them or gave them some attention. They want more of that. I don't know if this is just a matter of, I like that you were previously dating like my friend, and it would be kind of fun for me to, you know, do that. But they are concerned that there's unfinished business between the Queen of Swords and King of Swords in the reverse, even though from what I can see, the Queen of Swords is like, done. So I'm going to see if there's maybe a chance that I could actually have some sort of, I don't know, one night stand before you either get back together with that person or decide to like move away. Okay. It's quite the plan they have. Against all odds, we're going to go with the romantic Lenormand. Is there anybody with redeemable trustworthiness energy here, or is it just... Oh, man. Hello, McGee, how are you? Yeah, isn't it? Hello, guess who? How are you? All right. So we have the man card. I know some of you lost yours. I'm sorry. I can't help it. It really does say man on it, though, and it is a card, so, like, don't hate me. Look, I spend most of my time telling you that these cards are about energy, and I'm not reading gender. But I do feel like this is pointing to the masculine energy of pursuit, looking towards some sort of romantic connection or physical intimacy with somebody, and feeling a sense of determination, but also acknowledging that somebody is maybe dealing with a little bit of a difficult time and they want to offer to be like there for them, but with a little bit of hidden motives, right? Oh, you need to probably talk about what happened. You probably need to like heal from that breakup. Sit right next to me. Tell me all about it. Hello, is it Alif? How are you doing? Thank you for subscribing. We've got the snake card. Yeah, I think we know why that's there, right? We could go with just dishonesty. That works. But I do feel like this is somebody who is trying to have a little bit of fun physically with somebody else's ex that they are probably friends with. How's it going, Scammy? Thank you for the tip. Oh, no. I think I said something about timing, but yes. Is there someone else on my path? Let's see what we've got. Thank you, Scammy. All right, how many minutes do we have? Let's do just a little bit more from... We're gonna go with the Tarot of the Cat people. Yes, sometimes that responsibility does fall on us, doesn't it? All right, what else do we have? Five of Cups in the reverse, the Devil in the reverse. I don't think the Queen of Swords is looking to do anything that they would potentially regret. I feel like this is somebody who's got like, you know, store closed sign up in the front, if you know what I mean. Pants are staying on club. Sorry. I can't help it when I make those kind of jokes and I think about the never nude dude. Ace of Swords in the reverse. Eight of Wands. Don't listen to this person who's trying to get with you. I don't think I need to like warn you about this. I think you know what this person's motivations are. But there are some of you who are going to be like, well, maybe they're being honest. Maybe they really want. No. I mean, it's kind of making me feel like this whole social group is just kind of like, you know? To show me Penelope Cruz in that movie, like, find me one normal, trustworthy person in that movie. I'll wait. I don't know if there are, maybe there's one. It was not a very, it was a toxic group, okay? So this is saying that this is a toxic friend group. Maybe they do get a little bit competitive. Maybe there is some not so great conversations about how to approach dating, or, you know, whether or not one commits. And I don't feel like that is exclusive to one gender, right? We've got some variation here as far as who's actually causing the drama. But I do feel like there's this, right? Just, okay, so that person's single now. Are you going to go after them, or am I? Maybe this has happened before. Which is, yeah. So we have the Emperor, the Eight of Cups in the reverse, and the Knight of Cups in the reverse. People trying to figure out whether or not there's going to be another chapter between these two, whether or not the King of Pentacles, King of Swords in the reverse is going to try to repair things with that ex, with that Queen of Swords, or if it's really just like completely done. Love life advice. Thank you, Zats, for this week. And better work opportunities. And any advice or warnings? All right. I've got that for you. Thank you, Zads. You rock. Hello, Lemonade. How are you doing today? Hello, Pachula. What do we have? Okay, Six of Pentacles and the Fool. Yeah, I feel like your like take on this group is that there's a lot of toxic energy and you need to just like walk away probably from the whole group. Sometimes you get close to your partner's social community. You get to know their family, you get to know their best friends, you get to know their neighbors, whatever it is. And those are all kind of, what's the right word? Like dependent connections, right? I remember getting really upset a long time ago because I had gotten close to someone who I had met through my person, and then, you know, I didn't get to be friends with them after. And it's like, well, I guess I probably should have seen that one coming. This is someone who's saying, I don't want to be friends, or I don't want to be associated with that group because it feels like you all are just not very kind to each other, or there's really not like an ounce of trust between the whole group. So I don't think this person has much chance of convincing you to actually be able to see them as a romantic interest or trust that they have good intentions. So I feel like this is just more drama on top of the drama of your breakup, whoever this is. So yeah, if I wasn't already very obvious, don't get naked with this person. All right, we're gonna move to the personal questions. We've got Pagan, then Lee, then Pri, Skemmy, and Zats. All right, so what do we have for Pagan, please? What do we have? We have the King of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse, the Ten of Cups in the reverse, and Strength in the reverse. And Seven of Pentacles. This feels to me like there's something here that you are doing your best to keep like moving forward, even though it's like a flat tire, you know, like pushing a car because you can't actually move it very easily. I don't know. There's something here that's like put, 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 put. Now this could be a connection, like a platonic connection. This could be a work situation, or obviously romantic. But I feel like you're looking at it, like, look at that dude's expression, and you're like, should I really even like bother with that anymore? Have I put in enough into that situation and realized like maybe there's better things for me to be looking for? So we have the Knight of Cups and the Page of Wands. This is like taking a second look or like auditing it, right? Like, I don't know, initially I was excited. I thought that this was great, but now I'm kind of like, no. So taking action to, I think, find something else or find someone else. And I feel like you will end up being much more, like there's something positive here about you pivoting away from that and investing your energy elsewhere. So yeah, I'd say keep it moving forward. And there are good things for you. Did you say Voyager was here? Hold on, is that Baby Yoda? Because, you know, they did that thing where they changed the, like how I see your names on there. Hello, Peter, how are you doing? You know, slow movement, that kind of thing. All right, so we've got Lee up next. This is the Witch's Tarot. What do we have for Lee, please? Ace of Cups. King of Pentacles in the reverse. And the Sun. This feels to me like someone who's going through a difficult time, especially with regards to stability, is going to either apologize or try to have some pleasant moment with you. So it kind of feels to me like this is, maybe we've been in an argument or maybe we haven't been talking. Maybe it's been a little bit stressful, but let's like have a great time today. Let's go do this. Let's have some fun. Justice. So things are balancing out in a relationship that has been a little bit tense for you. And the advice is to lean into this. I do feel like, I can't show you that card because these people are straight up naked. Six of Swords, and the Lovers is number 6 as well. I feel like this is absolutely about balance. So if it was rocky, if it was difficult to feel connected, or like, you know, there was trust between you and this King of Pentacles in the reverse, they have figured out what was off balance or what they needed to change, and they're actually talking to you, working on things. So the Six of Swords is about things improving, right? Getting into smoother waters. Yeah, like seriously, most naked card ever. Like, okay. So Lee, maybe you're gonna have an extra fun week. Now I don't know if I should even say that. I feel like there's connection. What's that song? A Connection is Made. I think it's from the 90s. All right, so we've got Pre up next. What are the messages? Where did that go? From spirits. We're going to go with the Egyptian Tarot. What messages are important for Pre to understand or hear? What does Pre need to know? Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. King of Swords and the Hermit. There's someone who's going to tell you some sort of an update or have a conversation with you about things improving in their life. So it almost kind of comes through as like, you know, a brother who had had some difficulty finding stability, or a close friend of yours that maybe had, you know, some codependency issues, building their own life. We have some sort of like long-held appreciation or love for this person, whether it's family or friend. I don't feel like it's romantic, but this person is telling you, or you're hearing, that they have made some really important changes in their life and things are improving. Five of Wands in the reverse. Introspection, wisdom, growth. This could be somebody who was at a distance, like moved away. But you're going to see them as a much more mature version than what you had seen before. Hello, Brenda. How are you doing? And let's see what we've got for Skemi. This is the Soul Cat Tarot. Is there someone else on Skemi's path? I assume you mean romantically. Oh, the Four of Wands and the High Priestess. Yes, there is. Four of Wands is a card that talks about like leveling up. High Priestess is intuition. The Tower, there's something changing here. Is this something changing for Skemi? Yeah, there's something here that you do. Maybe you move, maybe you get a different job, maybe you decide to join some new club, or you go to a different place than normal. But you do something, and I feel like it impacts location somehow. And this change in your behavior, it puts you on a path, or you meet this High Priestess, and they see you as a magician. Now, oddly enough, I would have put these two as divine counterparts, but my understanding is the High Priestess is the divine counterpart of the Hierophant. So I guess I can kind of see that too, right? But this is like very similar energy, and yet you take different approaches. Notice behind the Magician, it's sunny, which makes sense because the Magician is Aries energy associated with fire, sun, right? And the High Priestess has a starry night behind them. I feel like you may have come from very different backgrounds, or you have very different approaches, but very similar magic. So it would be like, have you ever tried to explain something to someone and then they say, I think I understand, and then they explain it back in completely different words, and you're like, yeah, that works too. That's what this connection is. They conceptualize things differently from you, but see things very similarly. Or they articulate them differently. Wow, Empress. And the Fool in the reverse. I think you actually end up doing something that you're frustrated with, and that's what enables you to meet this person. What I'm seeing in my mind is like missing a highway exit, or missing like the train, having to take a different path, having to stop at like a different grocery store than the one you normally. There's something here where you're like, you're irritated. Maybe it's a traffic jam. Maybe it's just like, I have to go to this particular grocery store if I want that particular type of thing, right? But you have to like go out of your way for something, and you're irritated about it. But then that's when you encounter this Empress High Priestess. So there is a little bit of a risk here because you will have to make a choice. And because you are maybe not in the best of moods when you make this choice, it might be helpful to remember that if you feel like you have to go somewhere a little bit off the beaten path or out of your way, it might be for a good reason. All right, let's see what we've got for Zats. Is there any love life advice for Zats this week? What does Zats need to know about love life this week? Hello, Blender. How are you doing? So we have Chariot in the reverse, Ace of Swords, and the Four of Wands in the reverse. This seems to be make sure you're honest with yourself about what things do not deserve your time anymore. Chariot in the reverse, Four of Wands in the reverse. This is like If this doesn't have the ability to go long-term or be serious, then I'm not going to invest in it. Or if I know that I'm not really attracted to you, then I'm not going to like lead you on, that kind of thing. You might have to say something to someone that makes you a little uncomfortable, but it's better to make sure that it's been clearly communicated. The Lovers and Seven of Cups. It does feel to me like there's someone who is a little bit confused about where they stand with you. Or sometime this week they're going to be confused, and it's saying you got to be real clear about that. Hello, Hannah. How are you doing? In Australia? That's awesome. Oh, wait, hold on. What about better work opportunities? Are there better work opportunities? Five of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, Knight of Swords. So I feel like there is, coming up over the next month, there is something that is going to make you feel extra stressed regarding the job situation. It's like one of those moments where you're like, okay, like enough, like can we deal with this please? And then I feel like very quickly after that, like I can't do this very much longer. There's news that comes in regarding a different job opportunity. It's like when you feel like you really can't imagine dealing with that or keeping that search going, then something really does come through for you. And I feel like it's what you've been looking for. I keep trying to put this tarot deck away. Okay, so what about advice or warnings? What does that need to know? We've got the Page of Cups, the Page of Swords in the reverse. This feels like a younger person to me. Someone who may be not very communicative with you or not willing to tell you what they need. I do feel like this is someone who may need a little assistance as far as like paying to keep the heat on or having enough money for food. There's someone around you that is younger than you, and I feel like you want to ask if everything is okay, or you want to offer to like help with something, but you might not know how to go about it, and I do feel like this person does need help. So your intuition is on point. It's just a matter of how can I approach this? I think you're going to be able to figure out how to do this. It's, you know, keep it kind of short and sweet. But I do feel like, there's a way that you can help someone who's not in a great place, and it ends up being a really important thing for this person, but also for you. Yeah, because you have the ability to help this person solve an issue, and I don't know if they're really going to ask you about it. I think it's more so you recognize that this person might need a little bit of a help. All right. No, you're good, you're good. I hope that that is helpful, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for the likes, thank you for the subscribes, and thank you for hyping if you're able to, and I will see you on the next reading. Toodles.